And we're live here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive. We have Nathan here today. I'm really excited to talk to him and hear his story. So, Nathan, thanks for being here.
No worries, Derek. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, I'm not really sure how I found this group, but here I am. So yeah, it's very grateful to be here.
Cool. I'm glad you found the group, however you found it. And
Yeah.
yeah, why don't you start by sharing a little bit about who you are and where you're from and what you do?
Yeah, thank you. I'm obviously Nathan Francis, 31, Australian. I was living in Victoria, so if yours might be would know Melbourne, the capital city of Victoria, Melbourne. I then moved up to the Sunshine Coast in Queensland nearly 2 years ago. Yeah, my story. It's like where do you start? But I think the end the start of 2020, I started learning the world truths and how the world really works through that COVID period. And then it was from that period towards the end of 2020 to 2021, it was time to look into my own life, my own truths, the way I was living my life, and the things that I wanted and the way I was living wasn't matching guess you'd say the things that I wanted in my life, the way I was living it wasn't matching. And I was your typical young Australian male, I'd drink and party and chase girls and do all those things in my early 20s. It seemed to have been a bit of a common occurrence for me that it went on a bit too long. Anyway, I was already on the health journey in 2021. I'd stopped drinking a little bit and was starting to figure out things and got to a point of September of 2021. The AFL was a very prominent sport here in Australia. If there's anyone in Australia listening or watching, the AFL is the Australian Rules Football. They had their grand final on this particular evening, and my one of my family members invited me over for a couple of drinks. And I looked myself in the mirror that night and I said, I'm never going to be doing this again. I had that moment of this is my last night. I'm going to do what I used to do, and I had a feeling that something better was going to come, but I just didn't know what that thing was. Anyway, it was 12 hours later. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and so three young girls came around, and back then I was straight onto it. I was like, like a dog to a ball, you could say. And they were sitting over there on this table, and I walked over there, sat on the table, not on the chairs, on the table. Probably said a lovely, lovely cheesy pickup line to them, and I fell through that table and I hit the concrete. And I remember that moment of this is like you could say a rock bottom as such. I remember getting carried to bed and, pretty embarrassing sort of thing. But it was that moment of, are you going to grow and do what you said you were going to do 12 hours ago, or are you going to stay where you are? And for me, it was definitely the path of growth because 4 hours later, I'm laying in bed, obviously hung over all the things. And my mentor, Jason, had done a podcast talking about self-sabotage, subconscious mind healing, and all the things. And I was listening to that podcast like a sponge, and I labeled myself the king of self-sabotage. I was doing all the things he was saying in that particular podcast. And I remember reaching out to him, emailing him, doing all the things. And he opened up a coaching program at the end of 2021, and I jumped straight in. I dove headfirst into my own subconscious, into my own journey, the things and the stories I've been telling myself, the way it works. And I was starting to connect the dots and put the pieces together. And it was probably from that table moment, which is to where I am right here, right now on this Facebook Live. It's been a pretty incredible ride. From there, I birthed a book, a podcast, a coaching business, and all these things just from falling through a table and having the patience, the resilience, and the discipline to go to those dark places and to step back out into society, a fully functioning, empowered human being, which is quite rare, but there are a lot more stepping into the empowered adult space, and it's great to see. And for me, it was the catalyst for the change. There's a lot of stories within the stories, but that's my story in a 5 minute spiel for you, Derek. So that is me.
Yeah, wow. So you fell through a table
Yep, plastic fold out table.
and but just like a few hours before you had said you were going to make a change, right? And then so what was that? What was that like that? Okay, I just said I was going to make a change, then I fell through a table, and then what? What was that? How did you say, okay, enough's enough?
Well, I I was pretty drunk, pretty high, all those things, and I remember falling through it. And then I just remember being really embarrassed and all the things and carried off the bed. And then I'm laying there and I'm like I had this like real deep feeling that there was something better. I didn't know what that was until the hours prior, but yeah, it was definitely a well, I feel like the way the universe works is if you put something out there like an intention or you say something, well, it's going to meet you where you're at to test you to see if you're ready for that particular thing that you've said. And for me, it was couldn't have happened any better for me, really. Like 12 hours prior, I'm saying, this is it. And then it's like this is your test. Are you gonna pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward, or you're going to stay where you are, keep doing the things you're doing, and just live that mundane life and just carry on, keeping on, keeping on. I didn't want to do that. I chose growth, and that was the moment. It's like, okay, well, you've listened to this podcast. Are you going to reach out to this guy? Are you going to you know, dive deep into your own stuff. You dove deep into the world truth. You dove deep into all the things. You've learned all that, but then it was that beautiful mirror moment of it's time for you to go within and learn your own. And for me, head first, nose first, whatever analogy you want to use. I just dove straight in and went right. How can I reprogram, reshape my life, learn the truths that existed within me that I spent years running from, to then step back out into society and help others on their journey. And that was the thing that was the most beautiful thing for me was that I was able to and still am able to circle back and help others through their journey to empowerment to something better, whatever that is. It's different for everyone, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm gonna ask you about how you help other people, but first, what changes happened for you after you, started working in this program?
Well, for me, it was the physical changes. When I was 17, I was going to the gym and doing those things, but I was doing it for reasons of women's validation, trying to get attention from girls and all those things. I ended up quitting after like 12 months because I wasn't seeing any changes and I didn't really stick to what was being like. I didn't really stick to anything either. So, that was the first thing. Well, one of the first things I changed was, well, I got back into the gym to challenge myself physically and mentally in that space. And then it was from there I could actually have a bit of evidence to be like, okay, well, you can do X, Y, Z in the gym. There's no reason why you can't do X, Y, Z over here in another phase of your life. It really got me that discipline, the patience, and the resilience to be able to challenge myself on that mental and physical level. That was definitely one thing and I still go now, and it's something I'll continue to do to continue to challenge myself and put myself in those uncomfortable situations so that the growth can happen. That was one. Mentally, it was turning off the TV and not watching the never-ending cycle of programming. For me, I watched a lot of American Pie. I watched a lot of Two and a Half Men with Charlie Sheen, Stifler in American Pie. I watched Joey in Friends. You can sort of see the guy, the prototype man that I wanted to be. I as the subconscious, you know how powerful it is. I was 13, not really sure who I was, didn't really have a self identity, still trying to figure out who I am, why I'm here, all the things as a 13-year-old. I'm watching American Pie one night with Stifler. I'm like, well, this guy's got it. He's got girls, he's got validation, he's got a good group of buddies. I'm watching Two and a Half Men, Charlie Sheen. He's got a beach house. He's got, women, revolving door women. It's like, that's the lifestyle that's going to get me the things I want. I'm going to just download that. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to play that card in society. And that's the guy I was being. I was my own version of Stifler, Charlie, and Joey in one big ball of that's who I should be. It's like I turned those programs off. I stopped listening to mainstream music, and I learned that how we are influenced in those mainstream spaces. I just shut them off and went, right, what's my story? What's true to me? What's a program that society's given me, such as at 30, you've got to have your shit figured out? Well, not really. You've still got X amount of years left. That's a societal program. That's just one of many. And it's like, well, what's my story? What do I want out of this life? What are the things I want? What do I want to achieve? And that's just sitting with myself and not having any outside external influences, all internal. So that's another thing too, is you got to turn off the TV, mainstream music, and sit with yourself and ask yourself those deep questions to get the desired result. Because if you're influenced by, as I was, TV, music, and that, well, then that's gonna be a bit tainted because it's someone else's story of who and what you should be. We all came here for a reason. We all have our own story. It's just a matter of going back to that place, remembering, figuring it out, connecting the dots, moving forward. And that for me, they were the biggest changes on a sort of mental and physical level was exercise, turning off the things that were dragging me down the gutter and surrounding myself with empowering content and empowering people.
Wow. Oh, thanks for sharing all that. That's amazing, amazing stuff. So now you do the same thing with other people and you help people empower themselves, or tell us more about how you help your clients.
Yeah, so the process works is I have a 150 point or questionnaire and it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. We go deep into your life, your journey, and then the things that you want to achieve, the things you want to bring into your world. And the first half of the questionnaire you could say is the juicy bad stuff. And then the second half is okay, well, from here, where would you like to go and how can I best help you get to that point of your journey of something better, something great. And it's all subconscious. I just help people understand how it works on repetition. It's like going to the gym. If you want to get big biceps and stuff, you've got to actually do the reps and it works on repetition. Your subconscious is the same. If you grew up in a household full of alcohol, junk food, negative thoughts, dealing with stress just through the bottle, you're downloading that as a child, and with the amount of reps, you're going to live out some form of that life as you grow up. And it's a matter of going back to that and reprogramming. So you've got to put in positive content reps. You got to go into the mental gym. So I help clients get into the mental gym, but also get into the physical gym, start to move their body, start to feel into their pain, help slowly remove those things in their life that are causing the pain to be able to go into the pain and feel that pain, deal with that pain, and and move through those uncomfortable periods to wherever they are on their journey. We're all on different levels. So it's a matter of helping them navigate that beautiful journey called life.
Wow. Wow. That's great. So who's your like typical client? What do they
Well,
come for?
someone, it's I ask this question quite a bit. Someone like myself, really, that is a young male, might be 10 years younger than me. I really focus on the young men of today. I feel like there's a lot of work to do there. And it's someone that was a lot like myself, would drink and party, knew they had things going on inside, didn't know how to really deal with it, and would just, go out every Saturday night, hit the repeat button and do those things. And then obviously for me too, I ran away from a lot of things in my life and it was time to sit down and confront those things. I would love to be that person for someone young that wants to face those things, that knows there's something not quite right internally. It's a matter of having someone like me to be able to shine a light on those things and help them through that period to whatever their goals are, and achieving those and sticking to those and removing those programs that are keeping them stuck in this cycle. We're here to break those cycles and step off that and onto something better. So yeah, someone that was a lot like myself.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's great because there's not a lot of people helping kind of younger people. I think a lot of, I mean, maybe this is just a belief of mine, but I feel like a lot of people don't have the awareness that they need the help until maybe their 40s or 50s.
Mm.
Um, is that, are you finding that, or are you finding that
Yeah.
people, yeah,
Yeah, I'm also finding that a lot of our younger generation, they are quite powerful in the sense that they know there's something going on. They just can't quite connect some of those dots to figure it out. But there's a lot of young people out there that are wanting to figure it out, that are wanting to connect those dots. It's quite awesome to see how some of our young people are going in this space. But then there's obviously quite a lot that are, doing their thing the way I was as well.
Okay. Great. Great. I'm so glad that they have someone like you that they can reach out to. So how do they find you?
Social media. Obviously my name, and then I have my own podcast as well called Breaking Free, and that's 130 something episodes in now. A mix of solo episodes, mix of awesome guests. Might have to get you on, Derek, and share your story from what you shared before from my audience. And yeah, it was birthed in a beautiful way, and yeah, people can find me on those platforms. There is a website coming, hopefully by the end of the year, and yeah, that's how they can find me. And also, I write articles on Substack as well. I write quite a lot of personal, and I pick some topics out of the younger stuff, and I write articles based on that, and just I speak and say things in 1,000 different ways to catch the correct person at the right time.
Amazing. Yeah, so we're going to have you put your links in the comments so people can connect with you easier. Uh, Nathan, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share with everyone?
Uh, just that if anyone out there is listening or watching, that you have so much power and so much potential in you. We get conditioned and beaten down through the media and through all the mainstream things and the major belief of that is that you have no power. You must hand it away to an authority figure such as a doctor, teacher, news presenter, politician, all these things, right? Well, actually, no, you have so much power and so much potential that exists within you. You can create, you can lead, you can build. And it's just a matter of having the patience, the resilience, and the discipline to go to those darker places, to walk over to Pandora's box, open it up, shine your light on that stuff. Take your time, do your thing, step back out into the world, and just be that beautiful, authentic version of yourself that you're born to be. We weren't born to work a job we don't like. We weren't born to eat junk food. We weren't born to not go to the gym and not exercise. We weren't born to wear shoes. We weren't born to do any of this shit. We were born pure love. We were born into this world with a mission. We were born into this love, into this life to do something, and we were born for a reason, and you were told through dogma and all these things that you don't have any power and you don't have a reason to be here. I'm here to say fuck that. Yes, you do. You have so much power and so much potential, and it all exists within everyone. It's just a matter of sifting through all the mud to get to the water and then make it happen.
Awesome. I love that. So great. So great. So, yeah, if you like what Nathan's talking about, if you resonate with him, definitely connect with him. Like I said, we're going to have him put all his links in the comments so you can connect with him. Or if you know someone that you think might resonate with Nathan, definitely have, forward his information on. And Nathan, any last words to wrap this up with?
Take back your power. Take back your power. And the moment you do, no one will ever take it away from you again. No one or no thing will ever take away the beauty and the power that exists within you once you reclaim it.
Beautiful. Perfectly said. So thank you, Nathan. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like what we're doing here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive, comment interview so we can allow you to shine and spotlight your gifts. Or if you're struggling, we're here to support you. So um, thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you at the next one.